now that you know that interior design is a great field to get into, how do you know if it's something you would be good at? There is a famous belief in our Indian culture that you can judge what the child would grow up to be by simply looking at their personality traits. Personality and characteristic traits are important factors that contribute to our success in every career field. Having said that, it is not necessary that people who are born with specific traits are the only ones who succeed. Considering that you can easily imbibe upon most of these characteristics and traits if you really are driven by the desire to succeed. I am going to talk about a list of traits just to give you a basic platform so that by the end of the video you can easily determine whether you have the personality of an interior designer, or do you need to consciously work upon yourself and develop certain habits and characteristics that would ensure you turn out to be one of the best interior designers of tomorrow. So are you ready? Great, let's begin. Are you a good communicator and an equally good friendly listener? First off, if you are in any field where you need to communicate and deal with clients personally, you have to have excellent communication skills. Let's face it, no one wants to work with a stuck-up, head in the clouds kind of a person. Since you have a creative personality and an artistic vision, but unless you are decorating your own office or house, you need to be able to communicate your ideas to others. Successful interior designers have the ability to clearly express their visions in a way that the clients can visualize the end result. No matter how big a professional you are and what levels of success you have already reached, or no matter which income strata of the society your client comes from, you must treat them like your billion-dollar client. Like your career will perish without them. In addition to being able to tell clients what you see, good interior designers are also excellent listeners. After all, this is their space you are designing. You need to be able to listen deeply to not only what the client says he or she wants, but to understand what they really want. And you have to be able to truly listen to others when they are relaying an idea or vision of their own. You've got to be able to execute their vision, not just yours. If you can take a client's ideas and shape them into an artistic vision, coupled with knowledge and skill, and communicate that effectively to your clients, you will be hired time and again. You have to have excellent communication skills and an equally good listening skill. I personally noticed this with a lot of professionals from every field. You know, once they gain certain experience and a list of important clientele to boost off, they tend to consider themselves masters of the trade, and this greatly affects their listening skill because they believe they are the know-it-all kind of a person. Even if you know what the client is going to talk about, listen wholeheartedly without interrupting, and I say listen, not just hear. Apart from communicating well, a friendly and winning attitude is of utmost importance. Always treat them politely and in the same manner as you would treat a family member. A lot of times what clients suggest might not fit the ultimate look, or their ideas can look terribly wrong if implemented upon. At this point of time, you simply can't afford to lose your cool or make them feel like idiots even if they are idiots. You just cannot make them feel as such. Suppose a client is adamant and he insists on putting bright yellow wallpaper, and you know that given the furniture in the room, it would look like a very badly put together mess. At this moment, you need to try to make them realize why their idea would not work. If possible, demonstrate to them, give them a clear picture. If since the very beginning you build a rapport with your clients and earn their trust, they will automatically depend on you to take all their decisions. But this can only happen when you stop seeing them as clients and more as friends. The next is, are you detail oriented? One way you can tell that you would be a great interior designer is if you are perfectly detail oriented in other areas of your life. Do you remember birthdays and give fabulous gifts that are beautifully decorated? Are you well dressed with coordinating accessories? If your personality is a blend of meticulous detail orientation and creative inspiration, you will be a great interior designer. The next important factor to determine whether you have the personality of an interior designer is, are you a self-starter? When you are an interior designer, you work for yourself. Even if you go to work for an interior design firm, you still have to manage your own time. If you are the kind of person who wants a work 9 to 5 with a 1 hour lunch break in the middle of the day, this is not the career for you. You have to have the internal motivation to be able to work when you would rather be at the movies with your friends. It takes quite a bit of discipline to run your own business, but it's worth it. If you love the idea of being your own boss with all the commitments and responsibilities that go with it, you'll be a very successful interior designer. Time for us to move on. The next important factor to determine whether you have the personality of an interior designer is, are you honest? People always tell me that no business can run on honesty. You know the whole thoda thoda chalta hai attitude. But I say that if you pledge to be honest, honest to your work, honest to your clients, and honest to yourself, nothing, and I repeat, absolutely nothing can stop you from being the very best. See, clients aren't fools. They know and understand when people are giving an excuse or when they are extracting more money from them. And once your reputation in the market gets tainted, it is very difficult to get good projects. Base all your work on honesty, and you can easily charge a very high fee because you are offering something your competitors are not. You are offering them an opportunity to get the best services without any doubt. When clients hear of your reputation that so and so interior designer is not only hardworking but they are completely honest, they will beat a path to your door. And when demand for your services rises, you can automatically hike your fees. Build a career on a strong foundation of truth, hard work, consistency, and knowledge. The next important factor to determine whether you have the right personality of an interior designer is, are you always prepared? If you are like me and studied everything the night before the exam, it is time to leave that attitude. I will give you a small example. Suppose two interior designers, A and B, who are equal in all respects, are bidding for a very important project. A has done his homework and has acquainted himself with the background of his client and their requirements. He is carrying blueprints, PowerPoint presentations, and has rehearsed answers to every probable question the client might throw at them, and has left 1 hour early for the meeting. Basically, he has all the information at the tip of his fingers, and this information has been prepared after careful research and strategizing. B, on the other hand, has managed to wake up 15 minutes after the alarm went off. He slept late, you see, poor chap, was busy solving criminal cases on Facebook. Anyway, our dear Mr. B has somehow managed to reach the meeting barely on time, and of course he has little idea of who the client is or what are his expectations, let alone having prepared a slideshow. At this point of time, when the client asks each of them questions and assess their personality traits, who do you think will back the job? A, of course, unless the client is a criminal cases fan himself, then it is another story. The basic idea is that when you do your homework, the client sees you as a more responsible professional who is serious about his work, and therefore your chances of getting success after success increases significantly. The next important factor to determine whether you have the personality of an interior designer is, are you creative and technically sound? Another important factor that an interior designer must develop and enhance is creativity. Interior designing is an art. You are the painter and you will be showcasing your best work of art on an empty canvas. Remember, your best work of art every single time. While we are on the topic of creativity, tell me, is it that only people who have always seen with sketchbooks and colors make great interior designers? Absolutely not. What most people don't know or are too ignorant to admit is that each one of us are creative, and by meticulously working upon this aspect, you can easily be an extremely creative interior designer. But the operative word here is hard work, patience and perseverance. I repeat, hard work, patience and perseverance. You cannot have a laid back attitude when it comes to your career or any career for that matter of fact. If you are not the one who has an eye for detail already, start developing this trait. You can always start today, and doing a course in interior designing is the first step, since you get to learn so much of the technical aspect connected with interior designing. Also, being technologically well versed is significant. There are a number of software that the top designers are using today to help themselves with almost every step of designing. In fact, even newbie interior designers are investing in good software because it is much better to get a three-dimensional view of what the end product would look like, complete with the color combination, furniture placement and everything included. Such software make their work a lot easy and leaves little room for errors. But if you are just starting off, you might want to wait a bit before getting the software, as most of the softwares can be pretty expensive. However, that being said, the idea here is to be knowledgeable of the technology that will aid to your work, and do not get into any financial obligation to buy them right away. Don't worry, as your career takes off, you wouldn't have to worry about the budget. Okay, the next important factor to determine whether you have the personality of an interior designer is, are you result oriented and a convergent thinker? A convergent thinker is one who will look at a problem, analyze it using his analytical skills and will come up with a solution in no time. Basically, anyone who is more concerned with seeking solutions than playing the blame game is likely to succeed. Always focus on the solution no matter whose fault is it, because the client is always concerned with the end result and not who put in the maximum effort or who put in the least hours of productive effort. And you being the leader, you are at the forefront of communication. So it is you who will have to communicate directly with the client. So it should be you who look for solutions as and when problem arises. Being result oriented also entails that you are not the one to be negatively influenced by workplace politics, which unfortunately is apparent even in the interior industry. Always think what is best for the project, no matter how much of cribbing and problems have gone through to complete the project. But when at the end of the project you walk away with a huge satisfied smile on your face, you know it is a job well done. Whenever you feel scared by a situation or a problem, always remember this good positive feeling you will experience at the completion of the project, and you will be filled with a sense of determination to see the project through in the best manner possible. Next we come to, are you good at juggling many projects and tasks? The personality of a successful interior designer is one that can handle many priorities at once. You might have a client who hates the newly applied blue paint on the wall. Are you able to calm the client down and suggest a solution that excites the client? You will probably have more than one client at a time, and each person must feel like they are your top priority. It takes good organization skills and a lot of planning. I am sure each one of you are already good at multitasking with today's youth, juggling between internet, cell phone and work. Multitasking comes all but naturally to you. But as interior designer, the concept of multitasking is slightly different. When you are managing more than one project at a time, you will have to give equal attention to each project and make sure that every project that you are simultaneously working on is finished as a masterpiece. Those who can multitask efficiently are often extremely organized, because see, unless you are absolutely aware of the details of each project, you can't switch your brain from the workings of one to the workings of the other project. So being organized is an extremely important characteristic trait for an interior designer. And if you are one who has no idea where half their belongings are, I strongly suggest you start being organized in your personal life as well as your professional life. And the last trait that an interior designer absolutely must possess is, do you have a spirit of salesmanship? Even before I talk about salesmanship in terms of interior designing, let me first start with dismantling the stereotype with the word salesmanship. If I were to ask you in this moment that what the word salesman reminds you of, I know most people would say, sir, telemarketer who harass you to buy credit cards, or a shop salesperson who would force you, flatter you and do everything else to get the product sold, isn't it? That is such a wrong concept born out of decades after decades of misusing the word. Salesmanship basically means offering services that you have to those who need it. As an interior designer, you are offering the service of beautifying people's homes, and this is one service almost everyone needs at some point of the time. Why should you then feel bad about marketing your services or being a salesman in this regard? Interior designers mostly work as freelancers, and given the current market competition, you should know how to market your services and show the clients that your abilities and skills are unmatched. For this, you need to work as a salesman, and yes, the salesman I talk about is not a creepy telemarketer sort of person. You are a talented person marketing your services, so please do not feel bad about it at all. This completes our specific characteristic trait that most teachers and seasoned professionals feel that an interior designer should possess. To summarize, the main traits are a friendly and winning attitude with great communication and listening skills, being detail oriented in all areas of life, being highly disciplined, self-motivated to work on your own, complete honesty to your work, your clients and themselves, doing your homework and being prepared well in advance. Yes, it is very important. Creativity and complete technical knowledge concerning your field. Focus on the result and being good at solving problems. You should be able to manage multiple projects simultaneously without any effect on the quality. That's multitasking. Can efficiently market their services. With this trait, I am sure you will make an efficient interior designer and make a good name for yourself in the interior designing world. That's all for this video. I am looking forward to connect with you in my next video now. Till then, let's work together and achieve peace of mind, financial freedom and a career for life. Thank you.